All right, let's dive right in. Today we're talking about a revolution in warfare, but it's not one driven by steel. It's driven by silicon. This is all about the new age of algorithmic warfare and how artificial intelligence is, well, it's completely rewriting the rules of the battlefield. Just let this sink in for a second. The next world war might not be won by the biggest army, but by the smartest algorithm. That single idea changes everything. It means we're moving past an era of pure industrial might and into a new one where the real weapon is a cognitive advantage.
So just how big is this shift? Well, it's fundamental. We're going to break it down, starting with this core idea, the move from a battle of physical mass to a battle of the mind.
And this slide really puts it into perspective. On one side, you have industrial warfare, the classic way of thinking. It's all about mass, machines, and firepower. Who can build more tanks? Who has more guns? But on the other side, you have algorithmic warfare. This is all about outthinking the enemy. The most important resources now? Data. The key advantage? Speed. And the battle itself is won in the cognitive domain. It's a whole new game.
This quote really hits the nail on the head. It's not just about overwhelming force anymore. The new goal, the new high ground, is what's called decision superiority. It's the ability to just consistently make better, faster decisions than your adversary. That's what replaces firepower as the thing that gives you the edge.
Okay, so what does this AI-powered battlefield actually look like in practice? Let's get into how these algorithms are cranking up the speed of command to a whole new level.
At the heart of pretty much any military action is this process called the OODA loop. It's a really simple but powerful cycle. You observe what's happening, you orient yourself to what it all means, you decide what to do, and then you act. And here's the kicker. The side that can race through this loop faster wins.
And this, right here, is where AI is an absolute game changer. It supercharges every single step. For observe, AI fuses data from tons of sensors in an instant. For orient, it spots patterns a human could never hope to see in time. For decide, it generates and stress tests different courses of action in seconds. And finally, for act, it allows for this incredible human-machine teaming. The result? The whole operational tempo just becomes blisteringly fast. So, where does this incredible speed advantage actually matter the most? Let's look at 3 areas where military AI is already providing a real, decisive edge out in the world.
First up, intelligence. Think about it. Analysts are absolutely drowning in satellite and drone imagery. It's impossible for humans to keep up. But AI-powered image analysis can sift through this global haystack, automatically spotting things like new construction, troop movements, or even camouflaged vehicles. It finds patterns that would take teams of humans weeks to find, if they found them at all.
Next, let's talk about autonomous systems. Imagine not one drone, but hundreds of them, all working together like a single intelligent swarm. This is possible because of distributed AI. They don't need a central human controller micromanaging every move. They can coordinate complex missions, like overwhelming an air defense system, and they can adapt on the fly, even if some of the drones are lost. And third, we have cybersecurity. Digital attacks happen at machine speed. A human operator, no matter how good, simply can't keep up, but an AI-driven defense system can. It can spot a brand new threat, figure out what it is, and roll out a fix across an entire network in microseconds. That's often before a human even realizes an attack is happening. So, these capabilities are just staggering, right? The speed, the precision, the scale, it's incredible. But with all this power, you have to stop and ask one huge question. What could possibly go wrong?
And that question gets us right to the core tension of military AI. We're calling it the algorithmic dilemma. How do you balance this amazing new capability with the absolute need to maintain human control and, ethical oversight?
Well, the risks really break down into 3 big buckets. First, you've got the ethical concerns. We're talking about machines making life-or-death decisions and the very real danger of algorithmic bias, where an AI picks up the hidden prejudices from its training data. Then there are the technical limitations. These systems can be tricked by something called adversarial attacks, and sometimes their decision-making is a total black box. Even the creators can't explain why it did what it did. And finally, you have huge operational challenges, like just getting these new systems to work with older equipment and feeding them the insane amounts of data they need to function. And here's a number that really puts the technical challenge in perspective. For any system involved in combat, the required reliability is astronomical. We're talking well over 99%. Now, trying to prove that a complex AI can meet that standard, especially when a clever enemy is actively trying to trick it, that is one of the toughest problems in tech today. So,
To try and get a handle on all this, nations like the US are developing ethical frameworks. The Department of Defense, for example, has laid out some really important principles. They say AI systems must be responsible, meaning a human is always accountable. They have to be traceable, so we can figure out their logic. They have to be reliable, so they do what we expect them to do. And they have to be governable, which means a human can always step in and hit the off switch.
Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. In a world of machine-speed warfare, what exactly is the role of humanity?
See, human control isn't just a simple on or off switch, it's more of a spectrum. On one end, you have human in the loop, where a person has to give a direct command for every single major action. Then there's human on the loop, where the system can act on its own, but it's being supervised by a human who can step in at any time. And of course, on the far end is a fully autonomous system, which operates independently after you give it its goals. Deciding where a system should fall on this spectrum is one of the most critical choices we have to make. And that leaves us with this final, really challenging thought. There is no denying that AI offers a massive advantage in speed and raw processing power. But war has always demanded things that are uniquely human: judgment, intuition, context, moral reasoning. So as the battlefield accelerates to the speed of algorithms, the ultimate question really is, can our human wisdom keep up?